years. He's been to the most events out of all of them. There you see him on your screen, noeL, sitting down, getting ready. Calm and collected as always to fight against STTP Wilson.
Yeah, you talk about that experience, and that is an extremely important thing to note, is Wilson doesn't make it out to every single LAN, and Wilson makes it out to every single LAN. He was there in Sweden at DreamHack Summer. I hope he's going to Rotterdam. He made it to Dallas. He made it to CEO. He's in so many different online tournaments. He is a traveling fool.
Yeah, noeL makes it to basically every single LAN. Back before we had an even established LAN scene, like a LAN circuit, he was still making it out to like locals in Atlanta, and that was like the only offline event there was. He was winning in Final. He was participating in so many things, and he's just been a long-time competitor for the game, and absolutely ecstatic to see him here in the top 6 fighting against STTP Wilson on the Linfei.
Now, LDZ had to play Mordex immediately into another Mordex. Fortunately for Wilson, he was playing into Boomy. Now he's playing into a completely different player, a completely different character against this Asuri from noeL. It's going to be the Qatar Dittos.
There is going to be the Qatar Dittos. STTP Wilson, arguably a really strong Qatar player, one of kind of the 2 Qatar gods of North America, but noeL not too far behind in the fact that he's a strong Qatar player. Was generally known for his sword play more because he had kind of rolled through all these different sword characters, the Koji, the Hattori, and the Asuri, but he's still got an incredible Qatar game.
I mean, you already saw him open up, win that initial engagement. Like, he has a full stock lead, more than a full stock lead. He might just pick up another kill. He might turn 1 stock lead into 2 stocks.
Oh no, didn't touch noeL!
He extended in a rare mistake of noeL to just extend too far.
Just a little bit off the mark. Thought that he could reset onto that wall, but maybe forgot that it's Shipwreck with the very short, very small side walls.
Now, I think you and I were casting earlier. Maybe we were just talking, and you said that we hadn't seen like any neutral signatures coming out from noeL's Asuri Qatars, and then all of a sudden we see him open up with one a minute into the game, his first set of the day in top 6.
That's honestly, that was the first thing that I thought of when I saw that neutral signature from noeL. I was like, where was this yesterday? It just never happened yesterday. And suddenly he's like, oh yeah, I went back, watched the VODs, and you know what? I forgot that that signature existed. Now he's starting to bring it out against STTP Wilson, but Wilson getting that damage build, staying even despite the fact that noeL had an amazing start to this set.
Both players are turning into ground generals here. There's the neutral light. Wilson has done a great job of evening this up. Tremendous. It's something he tried to do against Boomy, was successful some of the time, but not every time. Now he's taken back the lead, playing that tug of war between these 2 players. Wilson just had a big yank.
Oh, but noeL gonna yank it back, gets the downlight into the gravity cancel neutral heavy to even up the stock count and the damage, has the weapon control as Wilson gets bonked on the head by that falling sword.
Throwing the weapon down, trying to break up noeL just a little bit because noeL's been punishing landings really well. Wilson's also been doing the same thing, which is why you saw noeL coming in with that falling nair, trying to come right down on top of Wilson, who doesn't have a move that'll hit straight above him without burning a jump. While staying on the ground, he will not have a move to cover right above him.
He does not have the strongest anti-airs for himself. That sidelight, kind of the strongest ground-to-air move that he's got, but it's got that forward movement in it. So like you're saying, won't be able to cover himself from above, but noeL with the Qatar string tried to finish it off with a read, but Wilson backed up, didn't go through. Wilson with the return, the response damage coming out, goes for the long active frame dragon.
You know when noeL went for that spot dodge there? If Wilson would have been on Ragnir, noeL would have been dead. That would have been an easy neutral signature.
See that so often with the Ragnir, but Wilson not really playing it. He likes this Linfei. He likes the high dexterity of these Qatars.
That's going to be something he's going to have to adjust to a little bit, is the neutral signature on Ragnir very different than Linfei's neutral signature. Linfei is hitting like straight above you.
Get it?
He's good. He's good.
Got the touch.
Players. Extremely damaged. You're starting to see those exclamation points come out. That means Wilson spent a considerable amount of time on the wall, hitting the neutral light, gonna knock noeL away from the weapons. There were
recovery?
There were 2 there, so Wilson was able to grab the Qatars, but noeL didn't have a problem with it.
I do like the adjustment that's come out from STTP Wilson between his matchup against Boomy and into noeL. Against Boomy, he had this thing where he was recovering just a little bit too high. His head would peek over and Boomy punished every single time. Down like ground pound, and then that disco on the corner. This time, we're seeing him recover a little bit lower, really trying to make sure that he doesn't end up peeking his head over that corner to get punished the same way.
And that's tough to do on Shipwreck because that wall is so small. You have to be pin perfect with that. If you recover just a little bit too late, your hurt box will peek right over that corner, and that might be one of the reasons that a player will pick that map if they feel very strong on the edge or if they think their opponent isn't the strongest recoverer in the game to get back. If they can't do it safely, then that's someone saying, I'll go to that map every time.
But we are seeing Wilson swap up the characters and the map, as he is going to be going over to the Ragnir on Small Brawlhalla. Small Brawlhalla, one of the smallest maps in the game, very small, both in terms of just area as well as very close kill boxes. You're going to see stocks taken quick just like that, down signature, and Wilson is gone.
Now, even though noeL took that stock in orange, he still basically has about the same lead that he did last game in Shipwreck. But this swap to Ragnir from Wilson, I totally 100% agree with. He wasn't getting a lot of mileage on the cannon. His guitars were solid, but I think his guitars are more familiar with this Ragnir pick. The signatures, definitely more familiar with this Ragnir pick, and his axe is probably going to be stronger than his cannon.
Yeah, this Ragnir is kind of home for Wilson. This is what he's really been making a name for himself with. The Linfei was a relatively new pick, but now he's back home, back on the Ragnir as he's going up against noeL, but he is a stock behind noeL, juggling the weapons forward so he can try to delay that weapon spawn for as long as possible, but also push his advantage, push forward towards Wilson.
Swipes up that sword, yanking it straight away from Wilson. Luckily for Wilson, that weapon spawn coming in. Now noeL's the one disarmed. There's a spawn coming in. It favors Wilson's side. noeL's able to get through. Wilson not immediately stripping the field. noeL picking up the guitars. A lot of damage on Wilson. You see the downlight. noeL fast falling back down. Hits the signature. Is that going to be enough to kill?
Where's the Sayer? There it is. Gets the stock. noeL with a huge lead over Wilson. Again, juggles and wants that guitar kit. That's what he's been doing, is when he's in that respawn situation, will throw the sword as high as he can to juggle for the guitars.
noeL over on the edge. We're probably not going to see like a dash jump dare, dash jump ground pound, anything like that. He didn't have the guitars, so he couldn't throw out that Spitfire right over the corner. If you wanted to use a down signature, it's going to be that long flame breath that has a ton of recovery, but also has a ton of active frames because you're just holding those active frames. Nice big side air. That's going to be his kill option. Even though it was on the left side of the stage, had enough damage, and Small Brawlhalla is small enough that he was able to still pick up the kill.
That being said, though, he is still very far behind noeL. Huge guitar string goes into the offstage. noeL with a fantastic spot dodge gets him in position to punish with a recovery. Down signature.
And he's done. That's a 2-stock for noeL.
Are we going to see Brian come up and give the coaching to Wilson? We are seeing noeL just calm and collected, staring at the screen, just thinking about what he can do to make this even better. You did hear the Asuri line, yes, though.
Ooh, it's a Fate swap.
Oh.
Coming over from Wilson. Now, we have seen him play just a little bit of Fate. I'm trying to remember exactly when he did it. He did a little bit of it at final round, and I think that might have been it.
3, 2.
Yeah, this is definitely not an expected pick from Wilson. Like we were saying earlier, Wilson, one of the guitar gods. He's known for his guitar plays. So, as we kind of expected, his 2 characters that he's playing so far were guitar characters. Going to this Fate completely off the books, but we'll see what he can do with it.
Now, we did see a brief honeymoon period after Fate came out where a lot of players were playing Fate. Her signatures can come out very, very fast, especially against someone who may be a little bit unfamiliar with it, which is why a lot of people were playing Fate right in the very beginning. Of course, Scythe is good, Orb is solid, and the signatures on Fate are fantastic. But I think some of that has run its course. The more kind of gimmicky Fates out there that rely on signatures, 100%, have kind of run its course since then. Now, Wilson, an amazing player. He does have a solid Scythe. I don't really remember much about his Orb, though.
Yeah, he definitely is showing that he's more proficient with the Scythe play. Like, hasn't even tried to juggle and swap over to the other weapon. He's basically just playing Fate for the Scythe and for the signature kit. We've already seen him utilize that side signature. It's got that ability of, if you don't charge it, if you kind of just tap it, it'll throw out the 3 stars, but he charged it up and got that one long-range shot. noeL, though, still able to take the lead, gets that first stock.
Not a huge lead, though, like we saw last game. It seems like this Fate pick is working so far. And speaking on Wilson's Scythe, like, he is going to have the carryover, the experience from his pick at one time, which was Artemis, having the weapon combination of Lance and Scythe. So he definitely has experience with the Scythe.
showing a little bit of familiarity with the signature kit as well as he gets the side signature to finish off the stock of noeL. That side signature, he rides along a star, or she rides along a star, and goes incredibly far, basically covering at least half of small Brawlhaven.
And you can pick up grounded opponents, you can pick up aerial opponents. You saw that noeL was backing away just a little bit. So Wilson was using that signature to cover so much territory and chasing after noeL.
But noeL, right back onto the stage, has the sword, was getting the juggle onto STTP Wilson, but now Wilson's got that stage control. Has the nairs. Not really chasing forward. He's being very patient with it. I like these resets coming out from Wilson's scythe plays.
And it's interesting because he's hitting like 4 and 5 hit scythe. I guess I'll put it in air quotes strings because it's not like Sair, nair, D-light, neutral light, anything like that. It's really slow paced, but he's still just getting so much damage in a row without taking any from noeL. Like this Fate pick, he's nailing it.
The scythe plays for him, just doing so incredibly well, and it looks like Orb is going to be his knockout weapon. Can he get the finishing blow? Oh, just a little bit too low for the down air, and noeL gets above. Both of them end up back onto the stage. No one gets the knockout.
That spot dodge from noeL was actually super clean. I'm surprised he had enough iframes to get through that recovery.
Downlight recovery. noeL gets the stock, but he's so damaged. All STTP Wilson needs is like a side heavy or a downlight recovery.
So if noeL wins this, he will move on and he'll face LDZ. If Wilson is able to wrestle this back, I don't want to see Wilson go to Brawlhaven because his signature usage is great. He can still use that to kill, maybe not quite as early, but still early enough. And like you saw, the last stock was noeL killing with a D-light recovery. That's going to take a lot more damage to kill on every other map than small Brawlhaven. I think Wilson can utilize these signatures better than noeL can utilize D-light recovery as kill options on any map but small Brawlhaven.
That's true, but we also saw that noeL was able to extend that second stock all the way to deep red. Going to a wider map means that Wilson is going to take even longer to finish off stocks, which might be a concern. Uh-oh,
oh no, the weapon despawns. Weapons now despawn much quicker than they used to.
Are we going to see the dash jump grab pound? No, instead puts himself into recovery frames, throwing out a downlight in the opposite direction. Sometimes you'll see Wilson do something like that as a bait. But that time, noeL just had the punish. noeL with the low recovery, gets the corner, gets the recovery.
There's the sidelight. He's going to go for the weapon toss. He does. He's going to pick up the orb.
Down air.
The down air, unfortunately for Wilson, it bounces off the main platform. Going to cut so much of noeL's momentum towards that blast zone away. Gets through. Oh, no! Wilson had the true combo.
Downlight
he had the sidelight Sair. He somehow is able to find the Sair, maintaining his composure. You see the shaking of his head. He knows it must have been it had to have been a misinput.
He knows that was a little bit sloppy. Sidelight Sair would have been the true, would have been the knockout, but still he was able to clean it up, got the stock, and goes into game 4. We're now at 1-2. And I heard a Mirage, and you know what? I like it. I like that he's staying with the scythe and he's mixing it up. Doesn't want to get complacent because, as we've said, noeL, fantastic at adapting to his opponents. So if Wilson's keeping this mix-up game, maybe gets to that game 5, gets to that 9-speed Artemis that we've seen him do, might see that potential come out.
Now his scythe was looking good on the Fate pick. Of course, he has a lot of spear experience as well, coming over from the days that he used to play Queen Nai. That was like, he was one of the only Queen Nai players at the time, and his spear was really solid. Of course, his Katars, we've waxed on and on about his Katars. But yeah, this is a smart pick coming out from Wilson. The signature kit, not all of them are great, but most of them are very good, and you know that Wilson can use them correctly.
I mean, both of the down signatures on the scythe as well as the spear, fantastic for finishing off stocks. And that was a little bit of a pitfall for him with that Fate pick, as he wasn't able to finish off stocks maybe as efficiently with that Fate. So having some stronger knockout options will work out for him.
Now, he had the chasing side signature on the Fate that we saw knockout. That is a very good chasing side signature as well. I don't think it covers quite as much ground, but it does cover a lot of ground, has that extended range.
And it has a little bit more forward priority. Against the Fate one, you can kind of stand still and with sword neutralize it and just kind of beat it out. Against that scythe side signature on Mirage, not really an option.
Now, you saw noeL using signatures early on in the last set to knock out a lot of Wilson's stock. Towards the end, like at the very end, you saw Wilson dodge 2 different signatures. So if noeL's not able to be as consistent with getting those signature kills, we could see really, really late kills if he's relying on that D-light recovery here, if he's relying on the D-light Sair. You see him trying to poke with that D-light.
Bro, that was clean though. Wilson went for the weapon toss down and tried to catch him with a neutralite, but noeL on the wake up immediately spot dodged iframe through the entirety of the neutralite of Wilson and then got a gravity cancel neutralite on the tail end of that. Like, that's so incredibly hard to do and like so amazing to see from noeL on this main stage.
Now with the shipwreck pick, Wilson has a lead. He has a very solid lead. He's starting to dominate that neutral game in classic Wilson fashion. He's fighting the signature kill options when he needs them. Now he has that really consistent spear. noeL finding some solid damage to the neutral, like coming out chain dodging 2 in a row all the way across the stage.
Wilson's also going to have some nice range with this spear play.
He's struggling though. noeL's just staying completely glued to him. You see him trying to throw the weapon down to break up neutral. That is immediately punished. That on-stage ground pound, immediately punished. We've seen a lot of those get very punished. Not very many successful on-stage ground pounds here at Low Tier City.
I mean, that was a big read coming out from noeL. Generally speaking, off of that neutralite, you see the setup, go for the recovery. Wilson was 100% expecting that, went down, and noeL was like, I know you're going to go down, so I'm going to punish you with my grounded signature.
Wilson just a little bit behind. noeL wrestled back the lead. That side air sent noeL very far. Ooh, the neutral light. Is the dodge going to come out?
noeL is incredibly damaged here. Again, on the second stock. Can Wilson finish it off? noeL just utilizing the weapon toss. I'm surprised Wilson threw him towards the stage. I was expecting him to go for the off stage, go for the finisher.
Coming in, sending noeL to the edge. The weapon toss coming out. noeL doesn't recover too low this time. He's able to get over to that wall. There's the side light into the neutral light. Gets the read, goes for the other direction recovery. There's the onstage ground pound from Wilson to take off that stock. He's just a little bit behind.
Had to finish it off with that spear ground pound. He does have this scythe, which has so much momentum potential. We saw him earlier just get those 1 or 2, just kind of keep that pace on top of noeL. And so far, we're starting to see the same thing happen. Has already gotten 3-4 hits onto noeL with no response just yet. 5th one, 6th one, still no response from noeL. Finally, noeL finds a hit.
It is interesting how just differently placed his scythe moves are in terms of pacing compared to other players. I think that just like totally mixes it up for noeL. Like he's expecting a move and then another move and then another move instead of a move, waiting, a move, waiting, a move.
Yeah, it's definitely just throwing noeL off because he plays scythe in a completely different way. All of the timings, all of the pacings are just 100% different. Top of the map though, noeL almost gets the great spot dodge but can't get the punish. Wilson, 1 stock away from staying in this. Going to game 5. noeL just needs to finish the stock to go on to fight LDZ, the 2-time world champion. Is that
last stock right? Is it going to be the wrong side of the stage? Is it going to have
the Sair?
Following it up with the unarmed Sair, noeL takes it 3-1 against STTP Wilson. All of the characters that Wilson swapped it up, the things that he was doing differently from game to game, wasn't enough to get past noeL.
No, but that means noeL is going into the losers semifinals to fight the 2-time world champion of LDZ.
Now these 2 players are going to have some serious history against one another. All the tournaments that noeL has top 8'd, definitely back in the day, I'm sure more than a few of those he's run into.